please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Mr. Bill Brown, Colorful Humor.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Now, my objectives for this speech are to prepare a humorous speech drawn from my own experience, to strengthen the speech by adopting and personalizing humorous material from outside sources, and to deliver the speech in a way that makes the humor effective. Now, the personal experience that I have to share is one that I had with my barber. Now, interestingly enough, my barber is not what you would consider a typical barber. In fact, she is a stylist, hairstylist. She's also my mother-in-law. Now, just the other day I went in to get my hair cut. I said, I'd like it a little bit longer on this side, a little bit shorter on this side. Maybe take a little bit off of here, kind of a little patch here, a hole here, and have it stick out in a few places. And she asked me, what are you talking about? I can't do that. So I said, well, you did the last time. And then there was my friend Dave, who was a doctor. And one day he had a redhead come into his office and say, I'm having real trouble with some nasty pains. He said, well, could you describe them, please? And she said, well, it's just so strong that I just can't stand it. Well, where are the pains? I said, well, here, and she screamed, and here, and she screamed, and here, and every time she pointed to a spot, she just screamed, uncontrollably. And so Dave said, I have a question for you. You're not really a redhead, are you? You're blonde. She said, well, yes, that's true. I said, okay, I know what your problem is. You have a broken finger. Kind of continuing on with the blonde jokes. So there was a blonde that decided one day that she's just sick and tired of these stupid blonde jokes, thinking not every blonde is stupid. And so she decided to prove this to her husband, and she was going to paint a couple of rooms in the house one day while he's off at work. So the next day, right after Dave goes off to work, she gets down to the task at hand. Dave comes home at about 5:30 and finds his wife just on the floor in this pool of sweat. You can smell the paint, and he's, what's going on here? What are you doing? Are you okay? And she says, well, yes, I'm okay. He says, well, this is strange. Why are you wearing a ski jacket over your fur coat? And she said, well, I wanted to prove that blondes aren't stupid, so I wanted to paint a couple of rooms in the house. And I read the instructions on the paint can, and it said, for best results, put on 2 coats. Now again, Dave has some interesting experiences with women. He told one of his female patients that she had an inoperable brain tumor, and that she only had 6 months to live. And so she asked him, well, is there anything that you can do? He said, medically, there's nothing I can do. However, you could marry an economist and just move to North Dakota. And she said, what's that going to do for me? He said, well, it won't add a day to your life, but it will make it seem like a long, long time. Now, Dave is a very funny fellow, and he also is very good at making barbecued ribs in his smoker that he has out on his deck. And one day, my wife and I were over at his house and with Dave and his blonde wife, and Dave made 3 different types of ribs, had them all out, just said, these are kind of your standard barbecue. These are really, like one of my own recipes, they're really quite hot. And these others are a dry rub. And so kind of pondered, well, which ones do I want? Maybe I'll try one of each. The only problem was that it was a little disconcerting, that he had done such a wonderful job with these ribs that when his wife picked one up by the bone, the rest of it just fell in her lap. And she refused to eat it. So we asked why. And she said, well, I just dropped the ball. Dropped the ball. She's like, oh yeah, can't you see? It just turned into a ball in my lap. And that was the end of it for her. No more barbecue ribs. The rest of us loved them, and we'll go back for more ribs as long as Dave is willing to make them for his wife. Life can be fun.